to Young Engineer Vlogmas. My name is Greta and I come to you from Vilnius. And today, as many of podcasters, I've decided to do a yearly knits review. So here you can see the top of the whole bunch of my knits. But I'll try to be fast and not to take lots of time reviewing them. So, let's start. Before that, of course, my contacts are Yarn Engineer on Instagram and the same Yarn Engineer on Facebook, in case you would like to check me there as well, and here on YouTube. So you can leave a comment if you would like to get more details or something else about my knits. Okay, let's start. So my last year started with knitting socks. These ones were my Advent cast on, and these are size European 36 socks from Alize yarn. It's a self-striping yarn and I made a pair for myself. Then I had plenty for another pair for my boyfriend, and I had a few meters of leftovers from the third pair, which was gifted. So these were 200 grams of Alize stock yarn, and of course I had, as I mentioned on my earlier podcasts, I had few, like 200 grams of sock yarn hand dyed by Lady with a Knit. So I have these ones. These were this knit for one French designer. I'll try to add a pattern name in the comments. So here they are, a little lace motif. These are quite short socks. And another pair was made and I gifted to my sister. And there were another yarn. This one was light brown, yellowish, orange with speckles of blue. And these socks I use for my sleep because I sometimes get cold feet. And another pair was gifted for my boyfriend's mother. So the other ones are quite pretty. I purchased a pattern from them and so on so far. I will add a picture and I will add a picture and the pattern, of course. So 400 grams for socks. And that was not it, because in the middle of a season I wanted to do one more pair of socks because I needed like instant gratitude and instant result. So I made these chunky ones. The yarn is Drops Alaska, and it used about 100 grams of the yarn. And as you can see, I weaved in the ends, but I haven't cut them because the socks were not washed and blocked yet. I'm a little bit afraid of washing these because this is almost unspun yarn and it may felt more than I expect. So they are still waiting for their turn. And so a little bit later, I decided to knit a shawl with a friend. So this is Up the Beanstalk pattern and shawl. I showed you, I think, this one on my first episode. So beanstalks, and it ends up, with very nice like flowers of the bean, and with the lightest color that I've decided. And with the shawl I have decided to do mittens. So, well, yeah, mittens or like fingerless gloves. They have the same pattern as the shawl, but only the blossom like part, the top one. So that's how it looks with even the clock. And yeah, so this is my Up the Beanstalk. I can show you quickly how I do like to wear it, and here it is. So that's how I usually wear it. So you can see the beanstalk and the blossoms and the ombre color. And I have this shawl pin that I got this Christmas from one of my very dear Christmas knitting friends, and that's how it fits this and helps the shawl to stay in place. So I used around 150 grams for that, and yeah, that's how it looks. I will add all the patterns and the yarn if I can in the show notes, of course. Then after I finished the beanstalk shawl, I needed to do another one, of course. So this is Paramaribo shawl. The wool is Dundaga, this is Latvian wool, and it is all hand-dyed and dyed in these very nice colors, as you can see. So yep, 132 grams for Paramaribo, and it is a very rustic yarn. Honestly, I haven't tried this shawl wearing longer than I show it somewhere in the podcast, because it's a little too rustic for me. Well, I'm getting less sensitive for the rustic wools, but I'm not there yet. I'm in the middle of the process. And yeah, the yarn is very nice. I would really love to gift it to someone who appreciates the rust and is less sensitive than I am. And up this way, it's almost like Lithuanian colors, Lithuanian flag colors, yellow, green, and red. So that's a very cute thing that I found. So yeah, there were another project that I had finished in the spring, early spring this year. So it was a tsubaki pullover. I will add the designer name and pattern, of course, in the comments. So that's how the pullover looks. It would use one single strand if you would have like coned yarn, because I had skeins, so I used 270 grams for this one, and I have a little bit left maybe for a cowl or for a hat, and that's how it looks. So it has very nice big cables, 3 big ones and few smaller ones on the top part. The back is like knitted stockinette, and that's it. And it has no sewings. No sewing is needed. You do this part with needles. So as mentioned, if you would have coned yarn, you can just simply start it and finish. So only 2 yarns to weave in at the beginning and at the end. I really like this idea, and I have another one, cardigan made by the same designer. So my tsubaki, and since we are talking about her, I can show you another one, if I can find it quite quickly. Yeah, there it is. So okay, let's move to a little bit more summary stuff. So the same designer, the same principle, same idea, using single strand. So this is another cardigan that even I forgot the name of it, but you can use, yeah, oh, okay, so you start knitting a square, prolonged square, and you will sew again 3 needles to form sleeves, and then at one end you will start doing body, and I have a yarn that wants to come out. Okay, and then you prolong it and knit the body, and it's not that very long, but it hides, you know, what needs to be hidden. Let me show you like this. Whoops, sorry. So yeah, this is the length that I've decided to complete. You can do it longer or shorter, depending how you like it. So this used, this used Yarn Art Flowers yarn, and I have used 227 grams for this one, and it's a smallest size. So yeah, now I would like to talk about few knits that I don't have with me because they were gifted, but they are still quite summery. So one of them was a dress. I don't recall the name, but I will insert it. So the dress was knit with the same Yarn Art Flowers Rose Garden version. So it's a 100% cotton. I have used almost 400 grams, and the dress works for me in summer when I'm in my village. It's a very nice outside dress when you need to put it on the bikini, or you know, just simply don't want to be very heated. Yeah, another one was a gift for a friend. It's a Ziggy shawl by Hohila Pateli. I used 204 grams for it, and it was a gift for my dear friend for her birthday. She really wanted something knitted by me. She loved green color, so I did that. And I don't think I have a picture of finished object, but whatever I have, I will insert somewhere here. And yeah, the last thing that I did and I don't have with me was a dress for my niece. The dress, I used Nako Sirin yarn. I used 200 grams, and it was a test knit for a designer that I found on Instagram. I will insert all details in the comments, of course. So yeah, these are the few that I don't have with me, but I really wanted to mention them as a finished object in my queue. So let's move forward. There is another one, summery knit for me. It's a test knit again for a designer that made socks, the red and the pink and green socks. So this was the initial test for us. It's a top that I knit in the same yarn Nako Sirin. I will try to put it here like this, so you can at least have the idea how it looks. So not so, you know, summery, but still, yeah. I use it in summer on bare skin, and well, since there is no wool, it really feels nice, and it haven't grown very much. So it has this very cute pattern on the front, and some testers did it on the back. I left the back plain, and I have this little very nice finishing as well. So this is my test knit for a Solines & Co. Here, I remembered the name. And the finishing is I-cord, and that's it. I did it as pattern set, and yeah, I wore it many times in summer. It's a very lightweight knit and very cute. And I'm really thinking about doing the same maybe for a more woolly yarn, so that I can have a vest for winter as well. And yep, I think we can move on to woolly stuff bag. Oh, before that, one more thing. My friend asked in summer that she wants me to knit a shawl for her, and it's a very special shawl because she saw this in a TV show named Outlander. And when she mentioned that, I immediately went to Google and checked what kind of shawl she had in mind. And you know, I sent her a picture what I was thinking, and she sent me basically at the same moment a picture as well, and it was that same shawl. It is red shawl that was worn by Claire in few episodes. So I looked for a pattern, I purchased it, and I've knitted it in cotton wool. I used 250 grams for it. I know that some knitters used more, but hey ho, well, I used that much. And I have learned intarsia and some short rows, like wrap and turn short row method with the same shawl, so it was really nice. I always like learning new things, especially in knitting. And yeah, so that's that. On previous summer, so summer 2021, I got some yarn as a gift from another knitter, and it was basically a kilo of wool, cashmere, and some polyamide mix. And I made this amazing cardigan for myself. It's a design, my design. I did everything on the go. Maybe I spoke a little bit about the cardigan, maybe it was in progress, but here it is in full glory. Yeah, so it has pockets, a little prolonged back. Yeah, pockets, prolonged back, and that's that. Let me get back up on the chair. And it has a hood. The most nicest part, it has a hood, a little bigger than I expected, but I love it no matter what. And yeah, I really enjoy knitting that. And so for this one I used 650 grams, and I still had quite a bunch of leftovers, and I've decided that I want to knit Humlabi shawl. Humlabi shawl is the one that is designed by Fiber Tales, which is a Danish designer and a very lovely podcaster. I follow her a lot. So yeah, Humlabi shawl has this amazing Humlabi bumblebee pattern at the bottom. It is also knitted bottom up, so you started at the widest point, and at the beginning the shawl looked like a pretzel, as my friend said, and later on it blooms and shows its full glory, and it turns out really nicely, quite wide, and I use it on a daily basis, so well, it looks like it's used. The cardigan also was used very nicely on colder days and in the spring, well, late spring. On the late spring only the cardigan, on the early spring under the some clothing. So yeah, these are the two of projects with this yarn. And again, a little break without showing something on the pictures. So the same friend who has this outliner shawl shared a very happy news that she's expecting a baby, and I've decided that I need to do some welcoming gifts for the baby. At that moment I didn't know if it was a boy or a girl, so I've decided to do a blanket, and I have chosen this mystery blanket pattern, which included 13 different versions, and I added few from my own stuff. So I did this blanket that I will insert a picture. It used 400 grams of drops baby merino. I used basically everything that I had, and once we found out that it's a baby boy, I purchased some drops charisma in blue color and knitted this berry sweater and little socks and little mittens for the boy, and which took along another 150 grams, and it turned out really nice. I did a test knit for the sweater, so I will try to add a picture again. And the gift receiver is very happy. She enjoyed. The blanket is used basically daily, and yeah. And after, when I knew about the baby, and I gave all the blanket and sweater as a welcoming gift, and I left a little bit for myself to do a crochet alien rabbit. I will also insert a picture so that once that I will meet the baby, I can bring a teeny tiny gift for him. And yeah, once I started crocheting this bunny, it turned out that there are more babies in friends or friends of friends families, and it turned out that I needed 4 bunnies, and I used 220 grams for them. So basically 50 grams per bunny, but it depended on the size, on some, adjustments, so around that. And I will add, of course, bunnies in the picture. And I think, yeah, the last thing that I can talk about, which I don't have picture, so I wouldn't forget it, is my color work pullover for a friend. I spoke a little bit about it in my Vlogmas. Yeah, the gift is already gifted. The friend is very happy. It fits really nicely. And I used Chops Alpaca Held Double, 50 grams for white and tomato colors for the color work, and another 425 grams for the body and sleeves, the plain part. And that's it. I will add a picture if my friend approves that, because I have one really nice. And that was it with the stuff that I don't have anymore with me. So let's move forward. And here we have Midlothian shawl that I showed you on my Vlogmas on some episodes where I was cold. Midlothian used 350 grams of Madame Tricot merino. So it's merino and polyamide mix. I have this green, white and gray colors in it. I don't remember the exact counts of the colors, but well, that's that. This is the shawl that I did, and it suits me really nicely. I enjoy using it and wearing it whenever I can or I need. And yes, so after that we have twists and turns. So this was the first year I participated in Stephen West's Mystery Knit-Along for Twist and Turn. Mystery Knit-Along, which turned out into Twists and Turns, and this is how it looks. So this is the glue 1. I spoke a little bit about it already in Vlogmas. Glue 2 and the yellow part, glue 3, glue 4, and my finish. I did, as you can see, the full shawl, all the parts that were included, maximum amount, whatever. And actually I was able to do it on time. I really, in between of those glues, I was able to do some more. I did some hats. I made 4 hats that used 300 grams of some of the yarns. So I will add a few pictures. And yeah. Okay, so twist and turns, 370 grams of merino silk from Apmezga. She's the yarn dyer here in Lithuania, and I really like the yarn that I got from her. Yeah, this is merino silk as mentioned, and yep, my twist and turns. Okay, so let's move to the most important part. And this is my Advent cardigan that I have knit and showed you each and every day. And here it is in its full glory, full bloom, and I love it. I haven't expected that it will turn out this nice. So this is it, with the pockets, and this is the size. Sorry, I had to take a little break. So as mentioned, this is my Advent cardigan. Actually, it's No Frills by Petite Knit. So that's the length. It's a little bit mid-tight, I would say, and yeah, it has pockets. I'm really glad that I chose this very neutral blue color for the pockets, so it fits the top part of the cardigan, and yeah, that's how it looks. It used 370 grams of, is it? I don't know, 310 grams of the yarn, of the almost half of the kilo that I got, and I have some leftovers, so well, we'll see what I would do with it. So for this moment I'm really enjoying the cardigan. Yeah, and it has a little pin from some of my acquisitions that is not yarn this time. So yeah, this is, but you know, I'll stay with it because I really like it. It is very soft and it doesn't bother me at all. I was wearing it today outside, you know, just to be nice and fluffy, and I was really nice and fluffy. So yeah, my last finished object for the year is Dancing on Water shawl. It is not blocked. I have finished it basically on Christmas Eve, and if I really enjoyed doing the lace part, I got so bored doing the middle part that, well, I was praying it will finish as soon as possible. So it is quite a huge shawl, even though it's not blocked yet. So we will see what will happen once I block it and, you know, to see its full glory. But at this moment, I'm just glad it's over. So yeah, this is half of the shawl. I used 300 grams of merino hapsalu from Medara. It's a Lithuanian brand for yarn, and they really have lots of very nice yarns, and I think it is soft enough for me to wear it next to skin, but I'm not sure if I will be the one who will wear it or I will gift it. So that's it. And the last object that I would want to show you is my still work. Well, unfortunately, it is still work in progress. Yeah, the cardigan is nice. And my work in progress is half and half triangles wrap. It's somewhere here. I still have more than 60 rows, 60 short rows to do, so definitely won't be able to do it this year, so I didn't count the yarn that I used. And it is also cotton wool, the one that I used for Outlander and a year before for my Ranunculus. And these are the colors. It will be ginormous, but very nice. I really love the color palette that I have chosen, this green and amber colors. This one is called Lichen, and this is amber. So very lovely decision. Unfortunately, it takes so much time that I wasn't able to do it in this year, even though I tried really hard. You know, I've knitted it each and every time I got some spare time or I wanted to relax from something more, you know, more important. And yeah, so the last thing that I wanted to show you is my acquisition that is not yarn. The one you saw a little bit. It's this really nice pin from Knit Pro that I got as a gift from my very dear friend. And yeah, that's how I would use it. Here for the sweater, I would do it like this. And you know, everything is pinned, and you know, I don't need to get myself bothered without buttons. And the other one came just today, but I already unpacked it. Sorry. Well, I can show you a little hint. So it has this sticker, which means Line Publishing, and I've got very nice books. This could have been also a hint because it's a pin from them as well, because, well, I really liked it. And about the books. So the first one is Knitting Notes from Lina, of course. And I had a notebook for the past 2, maybe 3 years that was made one of our local knitters, but I'm about to finish that book, so I needed a new one, and I've decided to order Lina, and it is amazing. So it has lots of charts for needles, like rulers for gauge swatch, to check how much, abbreviations, and bunch of pages for upcoming projects, with some spare pages, left for your personal notes. Even some pages for yarn purchases, and so on so far. So I would highly recommend if anyone would need this type of book. Yeah. Also, I've got 2 books. If you know me well, you would know me that this should have been in my shelf for books way long time ago, but better later than never. So everyone knows, I think, this book. Everyone knows what amazing shawls there are, and I do not need to present this anymore. And the third, let's say, book is Contrast for textured knitting. So this one, I think, was published this year. Let me see. Yeah, 2022. And it has these amazing patterns for all the projects, like cardigans, sweaters, shawls, and so on so far, which has texture. So like sweater like this, I'm sorry, like this, or I saw one more that I really loved. It was loved at first sight. Where are you? Well, I'll show you this one because it's also very nice. So this is also a pullover with these, maybe some kind of Japanese stitches as well, and the whole book is filled with patterns. Here's a shawl pattern with the lace motif, so I can't wait to start working on these, because even though I do like some color work, I've started to color work, texture knitting is my horse. If you get, well, we say it's in Lithuanian, or my cup of tea. And the last thing, this year, right before Christmas, I have found that 2 Lithuanian ladies, Rūta and Justina, made a Lithuanian knitting magazine called Knitting Hood. So this is the issue number 1, and it has some patterns, some articles about yarn dyeing, needle sets, etc. Even about some pies. So there are very nice projects for a sweater like this, so all over cables. Also this one very colorful, so with those roses. Even though I may not be the best knitter for roses, but in general the construction of the sweater would be really nice. And yeah, the issue is amazing. It has very nice, very sweet patterns, and I can't wait to start working on something from this magazine as well. And yeah, I think that's it. That's everything that I wanted to show you. Thank you very much for watching. Please share, leave, comment, like, subscribe, you know the drill. And yeah, Thank you once again for all the comments, all the subscriptions and stuff during 2022 when I started this podcast. I hope to see you next year more often because, well, I'm still a new podcaster and I get into some troubles once again. I will try to do another video quite soon showing what yarns do I have and what plans do I have for them. And yeah, I think that's it. Have even rows and don't lose any stitches in 2023. Have a very happy and very festive New Year's Eve and see you in 2023.